I'm sitting in a
Ladies and
lawyer's
gentlemen,
office
welcome
at
to the
10
most
a.m. on a
insane
Tuesday,
mega ramp in
reading a
GTA
document that
5 history.
confirms what I've
I'm talking
suspected my
sky
entire
high
life.
stunts,
I
zero
was
gravity
never really
jumps,
part
and
of this
crashes so
My name
wild.
is Claire.
Buckle up
I'm
because this
35,
ride's gonna
and I
be
just
absolute
discovered my
chaos.
parents left their entire estate to my brother's widow, a woman who's been part of our family for exactly 4 years. My brother Daniel died 2 years ago in a car accident. He was 38, married to Melissa for only 2 years before the crash. It was devastating for everyone, but especially for my parents, who treated Daniel like he walked on water his entire life. I'd been covering my parents' property taxes, insurance premiums, and their utilities for the past 5 years, since Dad's retirement fund turned out to be less robust than expected. Not occasionally, every month, without fail. They never asked if I could afford it. They just assumed I would handle it, because that's what I'd always done. When Dad had his health scare last year, I was the one who took unpaid leave from work to drive him to appointments 3 times a week. When Mom needed surgery, I slept on their couch for 2 weeks to help with recovery. Melissa visited twice, brought flowers, and left. Last week, their estate lawyer called to update me on some paperwork. That's how I found out about the will. Everything goes to Melissa. The house where I grew up, Dad's life insurance policy, Mom's jewelry collection that she always promised would be split between me and any future daughters-in-law, the vacation property in Vermont that I'd helped pay the taxes on for years. All of it. To Melissa. The lawyer explained it gently. Your parents wanted to make sure Daniel's widow was taken care of. They felt she needed it more since she doesn't have family support. I sat there in stunned silence. I'd been providing family support for 5 years, while Melissa pursued her lifestyle blog and weekend yoga retreats. That night, I did something I'd never done before. I went through my banking records and calculated exactly how much I'd given them. $73,000 over 5 years. Property taxes, insurance, utilities, groceries when money was tight, the new furnace 2 winters ago, Mom's dental work that wasn't covered by insurance. I'd paid for all of it while working 2 jobs to build my own savings. The next morning, Mom texted, "Property tax bill came. Can you transfer the usual amount by Friday?" No greeting, no how are you. Just an invoice disguised as a family text. I stared at that message for 20 minutes. Then I replied, "I need to talk to you and Dad, in person." When I arrived at their house that evening, Melissa was there, sitting in Daniel's old spot at the kitchen table like she'd always belonged there. That should have been my first warning. "Claire, honey," Mom said, pouring tea. "What did you need to talk about?" I set my phone on the table, showing the banking records. "I want to discuss the will." The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Dad cleared his throat. "Who told you about that?" "The estate lawyer, when he called to update my contact information as next of kin." Melissa shifted uncomfortably. Mom's hand trembled slightly as she set down the teapot. "Well," Dad said slowly, "we were going to tell you eventually." "When? After you died and I found out at the reading?" "Don't be dramatic," Mom said sharply. "We made a decision we felt was best for the family." "A family? I've been paying your bills for 5 years. Does that count?" Melissa spoke up, her voice soft. "Claire, I think your parents just wanted to honor Daniel's memory by taking care of his wife." I turned to look at her. "By giving you a house I've been paying the taxes on? By giving you insurance policies I helped fund? You're not the only one who's contributed," she said defensively. "Really? Show me your bank statements. Show me 5 years of consistent support." "That's not fair," Mom interjected. "Melissa lost her husband. She's grieving. I lost my brother, and apparently I'm losing my family too." Dad stood up, his chair scraping across the floor. "Claire Elizabeth, that's enough. We've made our decision and it's final." Then my decision is final too. I'm not paying your property taxes anymore, or your insurance, or anything else. The silence was deafening. You can't be serious, Mom whispered. I'm completely serious. If everything goes to Melissa, she can start contributing now. Melissa's face went pale. I don't have that kind of money. Then I guess you'll need to figure it out, like I've been doing for years. I stood up to leave, but Dad blocked my path. You walk out that door, and you're making a big mistake. The only mistake I made was thinking I mattered to this family. I left, and for the first time in 5 years, I didn't transfer a single dollar. 2 weeks later, Mom called crying. The property tax deadline had passed. They'd received a penalty notice. Claire, please, we can't afford the penalty on top of the payment. Where's Melissa? Silence. She's your heir. She should be taking care of this. She doesn't have the funds right now. Her blog isn't profitable yet. I almost laughed. Then maybe you chose the wrong person to leave everything to. How can you be so cruel?
Bullshit.
How could you be so blind? The calls continued daily. Mom, Dad, even Melissa sent a long text about family unity and forgiveness. My aunt called to say I was being selfish. My cousin posted something vague on Facebook about people who abandon family in their time of need. I blocked them all and kept working. Then the breakthrough came. My company promoted me to senior analyst with a 40% raise. I finally had breathing room in my budget for the first time in years. I took myself out to dinner, alone, and ordered the expensive wine. That night, sitting in my apartment that I'd been too busy supporting my parents to properly furnish, I realized something. I was free. A month later, the lawyer called again. Your parents want to revise their will. They'd like to schedule a family meeting. I'm not interested. Ms. Porter, they're prepared to make significant changes. I think you should at least hear them out. Against my better judgment, I agreed. This time, the meeting was in the lawyer's office. Everyone sat around a conference table like we were negotiating a business deal, which I suppose we were. Dad spoke first. We've reconsidered our decision. We want to split the estate more equitably. How equitably? The lawyer slid a document across the table. 70% to Melissa, 30% to you. I didn't touch the paper. And what about the $73,000 I've already contributed? Mom flinched. We thought we could work out some kind of payment plan. A payment plan for money you've already spent. We're trying to be fair, Dad said. Fair would have been including me from the beginning. Fair would have been acknowledging my contributions. This, I pushed the document back. This is an insult. Melissa spoke up. Claire, I never asked for any of this. I didn't know you were supporting them. Of course you didn't, because they never told you. Just like they never told you, they expected you to pick up where I left off. Her face crumpled. They said the estate would cover everything. The estate they've been depleting for years because they never adjusted their lifestyle after Dad retired. Mom started crying. We're trying to make this right. You can't. You already showed me exactly where I stand. I stood up. Keep your 30%. Give it all to Melissa. I don't want any of it. Claire, please, Dad said. I'm done. You made your choice. Now live with it. I walked out for the last time. 6 months later, I heard through my cousin that Melissa had moved out of my parents' house. Apparently, the financial burden of maintaining the property had become too much, and my parents couldn't afford it without my help. They'd had to sell. They moved into a small condo across town. The Vermont property sold too. I heard Mom's jewelry collection went to an estate sale. My cousin asked if I felt guilty. I told her I felt free. Last week, I bought my first house. a small craftsman with a garden and enough space for the life I'm building. As I signed the papers, I thought about that will, about how my parents had written me out of their legacy. They thought they were punishing me by choosing Melissa. Instead, they freed me to build something that was entirely mine. So here's my question. When family treats you as an obligation rather than a person, how long do you keep sacrificing? And when you finally walk away, how do you handle the guilt they try to place on you? What would you do?